Imagine a boardroom meeting where the CEO of a multi-billion-dollar company threatens to kill his successor over the price of a hot dog. It sounds like a scene from a corporate thriller, but in the world of Costco, it's legendary history. When the cost of production for their famous hot dog combo began to rise, CEO Craig Jelinek approached the founder, Jim Sinegal, about raising the price. Sinegal's response was blunt. "If you raise the price of the effing hot dog, I will kill you. Figure it out." That single hot dog isn't just lunch. It is a sacred covenant with over 130 million people. It represents a promise that at Costco, the members' value comes before the company's profit. But how does a company that refuses to adjust for inflation on its food, pays its employees some of the highest wages in retail, and spends $0 on traditional advertising become a global powerhouse? Today, Costco is the third largest retailer in the world, a place where you can buy a diamond ring, a gallon of mayonnaise, and a casket, all in the same trip. It is a business model that shouldn't work on paper, yet it outperforms giants like Walmart and Target year after year. It's a story of radical discipline, treasure hunts, and a private label that has more brand loyalty than most luxury fashion houses. In this video, we are peeling back the concrete floors and steel rafters to reveal the secret sauce behind the Costco empire. We'll trace their journey from a converted airplane hangar in San Diego to a global retail titan with a cult-like following. We'll explore why they intentionally limit your choices and how they've turned a simple membership card into one of the most profitable pieces of plastic in your wallet. Stick around until the very end, because we're going to break down the specific leadership and business lessons you can learn from their member-first philosophy that can be applied to any career or venture. This is the incredible story and success of Costco. To understand Costco, we first have to talk about a man named Sol Price. In 1954, long before the first Costco opened its doors, Sol Price founded FedMart in an abandoned San Diego airplane hangar. Price was a pioneer who realized that by charging a small membership fee to a specific group, initially government employees, he could lower prices to levels that traditional retailers couldn't touch. This was the warehouse club blueprint. Among Price's young protégés was a man named Jim Sinegal, who soaked up every lesson about efficiency, high-volume sales, and the ethical treatment of employees. Price's philosophy was simple. If you provide the best value, the customers will find you. By the early 1980s, Jim Sinegal was ready to take those lessons and evolve them. He teamed up with Jeffrey Brotman, an attorney whose family had a background in retailing. On September 15, 1983, they opened the first Costco Wholesale warehouse in Seattle, Washington. At the time, the idea of paying a company for the privilege of shopping in their store seemed absurd to many analysts. Retail was supposed to be about convenience and aesthetics, but Costco was the opposite. It was loud, industrial, and required you to buy enough toilet paper to last a fiscal quarter. Yet the model tapped into a fundamental psychological truth. Everyone loves a deal more than they love fancy lighting. The early days were a whirlwind of rapid expansion. Within just 6 years, Costco became the first company to grow from $0 to $3 billion in sales in such a short time frame. They weren't just selling products. They were selling an elite club for the middle class. While competitors like Sam's Club, owned by Walmart, were also expanding, Costco differentiated itself by focusing on a higher income demographic and a curated selection of goods. They proved that discount didn't have to mean cheap. They focused on quality items sold at razor-thin margins, banking on the fact that the volume of sales and the recurring membership fees would carry the bottom line. At most retailers, the goal is to make a profit on the items they sell. If you buy a TV at a traditional big box store, they might mark it up by 30% or 40% to cover their overhead and profit. Costco flips this logic on its head. Their goal isn't to make money on the TV. Their goal is to make sure you renew your membership next year. In fact, Costco's net profit almost exactly matches the total amount of money they collect from membership fees. This means they are essentially a subscription service that happens to have a giant warehouse attached to it. By taking the pressure off of product margins, they can focus entirely on driving prices down for the consumer. This membership model creates a unique psychological phenomenon known as the sunk cost fallacy. Once a customer pays their $65 or $130 annual fee, they feel a subconscious drive to get their money's worth. This leads to incredible loyalty and high frequency of visits. Currently, Costco boasts a renewal rate of over 90% in the US and Canada. That level of retention is the envy of the business world. It's higher than many streaming services or gym memberships. It's a virtuous cycle. The more members they have, the more buying power they have. The more buying power they have, the lower they can drop prices. And the lower the prices, the more people want to join. But the membership isn't just about revenue, it's about security and data. Because every single person walking through the door is a registered member, Costco has a closed-loop system. They know exactly who is buying what, which helps them manage inventory with surgical precision. It also acts as a massive deterrent for shoplifting, which is a billion-dollar problem for companies like Target and Walmart. At Costco, shrinkage, the industry term for lost or stolen inventory, is significantly lower than the industry average. By vetting their customers at the front door, they create an environment of mutual trust that allows the warehouse to operate with maximum efficiency and minimum waste. Walk into a typical grocery store, and you might find 40 different types of toothpaste. It's the paradox of choice. Too many options lead to consumer anxiety and slower decision-making. Costco takes the opposite approach. They are the masters of curated selection. While a typical Walmart stocks around 120,000 different items, SKUs, a massive Costco warehouse only carries about 4,000. This is a deliberate strategy. By offering only one or two top-tier versions of a product, Costco simplifies the shopping experience. They've already done the homework for you. If it's on the shelf, they've vetted it for the best balance of quality and price. This limited selection is a massive win for operational efficiency. When you only sell 4,000 items, you can buy them in staggering volumes. Costco doesn't just buy ketchup. They buy enough ketchup to influence the global price of tomatoes. This gives them incredible leverage over suppliers. If a brand wants to be one of the lucky 2 spots on Costco's shelf, they have to offer a price that no one else can match. Furthermore, because items are sold in bulk and often right off the shipping pallet, Costco spends almost nothing on stocking in the traditional sense. They don't have employees opening small boxes and lining up individual cans. They use a forklift to drop a ton of product in one go. This efficiency extends to their inventory turnover. Costco sells through its entire stock so quickly, often before they've even had to pay the supplier for the goods, that they operate on a negative cash conversion cycle. Essentially, they get the cash from the customer before the bill from the manufacturer is even due. This provides the company with a massive amount of liquid capital to reinvest in the business. By limiting your choices, they aren't just making your life easier. They are creating a hyper-efficient machine that turns over inventory faster than almost any other retailer on the planet. In the world of retail, store brands used to be seen as the cheap, inferior alternative to name brands. Then came Kirkland's Signature. Launched in 1995, the brand was a stroke of genius by Jim Sinegal, who realized that by creating a single high-quality private label, he could exert even more control over pricing and quality. The name Kirkland actually came from the city in Washington where Costco's headquarters were located at the time. Today, Kirkland's signature is a juggernaut, generating more revenue than brands like Nike, Coca-Cola, or Kellogg's. It accounts for about a quarter of Costco's total sales, acting as a pillar of the company's identity. The secret to Kirkland's success is a co-branding strategy that many shoppers don't even realize is happening. Costco often partners with top-tier manufacturers to produce Kirkland products. It's an open secret in the industry that Kirkland coffee has been roasted by Starbucks, and their batteries have been manufactured by Duracell. The rule is simple. The Kirkland version must be of equal or higher quality than the national brand, but it must be sold for at least 20% less. This creates a win-win. The manufacturer gets a massive guaranteed volume of sales, and Costco gets a premium product that builds immense trust with its members. Kirkland's signature isn't just about saving money, it's a tool for price discipline. If a major brand like Bumblebee Tuna or Huggies Diapers refuses to lower their wholesale price, Costco can simply threaten to replace them with a Kirkland version or give the Kirkland version better shelf space. This private label hammer keeps name brand suppliers honest. Because members have come to trust the Kirkland name across hundreds of different categories, from gasoline to golf balls, it creates a halo effect. If the Kirkland olive oil is great, the member assumes the Kirkland laundry detergent will be too. This brand loyalty is the glue that keeps the membership model so sticky. If you've ever walked into Costco for milk and walked out with a 12-person inflatable island and a kayak, you've been a victim, or a winner, of the treasure hunt. Costco's layout is a masterpiece of psychological engineering. Unlike traditional supermarkets, Costco doesn't put signs over the aisles. They want you to wander. They want you to get lost in the valleys of steel shelving because the more ground you cover, the more likely you are to spot an item that wasn't on your list. This is why the essentials like rotisserie chickens and milk are always tucked away in the very back corners of the warehouse. The treasure hunt is powered by a rotating inventory of about 25% of their products. While the staples stay put, thousands of other items are here today, gone tomorrow. This creates a sense of scarcity and urgency. When you see a high-end designer coat or a limited edition tech gadget at a clearance price, you know that if you don't put it in your oversized cart right now, it will probably be gone by your next visit. This FOMO, fear of missing out, turns a boring chore into an exciting discovery process. It's the reason why the average Costco shopper spends significantly more per trip than they do at any other grocery store. Costco also understands the power of the free sample. Stationed at the end of nearly every aisle are the sample people, demonstrators offering everything from bite-sized pierogies to sips of organic juice. This isn't just about feeding hungry shoppers. It's about the law of reciprocity. When someone gives you something for free, you feel a subtle, subconscious obligation to give something back, often in the form of buying the product. Statistics show that samples can boost the sales of a specific product by as much as 2,000% on the day they are offered. It keeps the energy high, the shoppers full, and the cash registers ringing. In the cutthroat world of retail, the standard playbook is to keep wages low to maximize profits. Costco famously does the exact opposite. While competitors often struggle with high turnover and labor disputes, Costco treats its employees like a long-term investment. They pay some of the highest entry-level wages in the industry, often significantly higher than the local minimum wage. But it's not just the hourly rate, it's the benefits. Even part-time employees at Costco have access to healthcare and retirement plans. This isn't just corporate kindness. It's a calculated business strategy. By taking care of their people, they ensure that their people take care of the members. The results of this people-first approach are staggering. Costco has one of the lowest employee turnover rates in the entire retail sector. In an industry where 60% to 100% turnover is common, Costco's rate for employees who have been there over a year is often in the single digits. This saves the company millions of dollars in recruiting and training costs every year. More importantly, it creates an experienced workforce. When you walk into a Costco, the person helping you at the checkout has likely been there for 5, 10, or even 20 years. They know the system, they know the products, and they have a vested interest in the company's success. Wall Street hasn't always been a fan of this. For years, analysts pressured Jim Sinegal to cut wages and reduce benefits to maximize shareholder value. Sinegal's response was legendary. He argued that if you pay people well and treat them with respect, they will work harder and stay longer, which ultimately makes the company more profitable. He famously kept his own salary relatively low compared to other Fortune 500 CEOs, emphasizing a culture of egalitarianism. This philosophy created a loyalty loop that extends from the boardroom to the warehouse floor, proving that you don't have to exploit your labor force to build a multi-billion-dollar empire. The magic of Costco isn't just in what they sell, but in how they move it. Most retailers use a complex system of regional warehouses that ship small boxes to individual stores. Costco, however, utilizes a cross-docking system. This means that goods are delivered to a central depot and immediately transferred from an inbound truck to an outbound truck with almost no time spent sitting in storage. By the time a pallet of Kirkland olive oil arrives at the warehouse, it has touched as few hands as possible. This streamlined supply chain is the reason Costco can operate with an incredibly low overhead of around 10%, while traditional retailers often hover around 25%. Costco is also a pioneer in packaging for the pallet. They work directly with manufacturers to design boxes and containers that fit perfectly onto a standard shipping pallet with zero wasted space. If a round jar leaves empty gaps in a square box, Costco will ask the manufacturer to make the jar square. This maximizes the amount of product they can fit in a single truck, reducing fuel costs and their carbon footprint. At the warehouse level, the store is the stock room. There is no backroom storage. Every square inch of the building is designed to either hold products for sale or facilitate the movement of shoppers. This obsession with scale extends to their peripheral businesses, like Costco Gas and Costco Optical. They use gas as a loss leader, not necessarily to make a huge profit, but to get you onto the property. Once you're there to fill up your tank at a price lower than the station down the street, the odds of you walking inside to buy a $200 grocery haul skyrocket. Every part of the Costco ecosystem is designed to feed into the other, creating a massive, self-reinforcing machine that rewards volume and punishes waste. They don't just sell at scale. They live and breathe the logistics of efficiency. For years, skeptics argued that Costco was a uniquely American phenomenon. They believed the buy-in-bulk mentality required a suburban lifestyle with giant pantries and 4-car garages that didn't exist in other parts of the world. Costco proved them wrong. When they opened their first store in Shanghai in 2019, the crowds were so massive that the store had to shut down early on its first day due to safety concerns. From Iceland to Australia and Japan to Mexico, the Costco model has proven to be incredibly adaptable. It turns out that the desire for high-quality goods at the lowest possible price is a universal human trait that transcends borders and cultures. The key to their international success is a strategy called glocalization. While the core layout of a Costco remains consistent worldwide, the product mix is tailored to local tastes. In Japan, you'll find massive platters of fresh sushi and premium Wagyu beef. In Korea, the food court serves bulgogi bakes. In Mexico, the bakery is famous for its tres leches cakes. By respecting local pallets while maintaining the treasure hunt atmosphere and the Kirkland signature quality, Costco has managed to build the same level of brand fanaticism abroad that it enjoys in the United States. They don't force American culture on the world. They offer the world a better way to shop. Today, Costco operates over 800 warehouses across the globe. Their international locations often boast even higher sales volumes than their domestic counterparts. This global footprint provides them with even greater monopsony power, the ability to dictate prices to suppliers because they buy in such massive quantities for a global audience. As they continue to eye new markets, they do so with a patient, long-term perspective. They don't rush into a country. They spend years studying the supply chain and local regulations to ensure that when they finally open those giant warehouse doors, they can deliver on the promise of the best value on earth. What can we learn from a company that sells 100 million rotisserie chickens a year and refuses to raise the price of a hot dog? The first lesson is extreme discipline. Costco's success isn't built on complex pivots or trendy marketing. It's built on doing a few things exceptionally well for 4 decades. They capped their markups at 14 to 15%, whereas traditional retailers might go up to 50%. This discipline builds a level of trust with the consumer that is almost impossible to break. When you walk into Costco, you don't have to wonder if you're getting a good deal. You know you are. That radical transparency is a powerful tool for any business looking to build long-term loyalty. The second lesson is the power of the flywheel. By investing in their employees and keeping margins thin, they created a self-sustaining cycle of growth. High wages lead to low turnover. Low turnover leads to better efficiency. Better efficiency leads to lower prices. And lower prices lead to more members. This long-term thinking is rare in a corporate world obsessed with quarterly earnings. Costco proves that if you take care of the stakeholders, the employees and the customers, the shareholders will eventually reap the rewards. It's a reminder that a business's culture is its greatest competitive advantage. Finally, Costco teaches us the value of simplicity. In an age of digital noise and infinite choice, Costco's curated physical experience remains a dominant force. They stripped away the fluff of retail, the advertising, the fancy displays, the complex coupons, and focused on the core value proposition. As we've seen, from a single warehouse in Seattle to a global empire, the story of Costco is a testament to the idea that integrity and value never go out of style. Whether you're an entrepreneur, a student, or just someone looking for a great deal on a 30-pack of paper towels, there is something to be admired in the steady, unwavering march of the warehouse giant. Lessons learned. In this video, we explored how Costco revolutionized retail through several key principles: the subscription model, shifting the profit center from the product to the membership; curated selection, reducing choice fatigue to increase operational efficiency; employee investment, proving that high wages and great benefits lead to lower long-term costs; the private label strategy, using Kirkland's signature to control quality and keep national brands competitive; logistical prowess, designing every aspect of the supply chain around the pallet to minimize waste. Thank you for watching the story of Costco. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of retail giants, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of our future business breakdowns and success stories. Let us know in the comments. What's the most surprising thing you've ever found on a Costco treasure hunt? See you in the next one.